I believe in knowledge and action and prioritize not only acquiring knowledge, but also applying it in meaningful ways to improve myself, help others, and contribute to the world. I'm driven by the need to know, question, and explore, even if it occasionally leads me down the weird rabbit holes. But hey, what's knowledge if you don't put it to good use? Welcome back to the Catalyst podcast. I'm Sonia Pedowick, your host, and today we're going to talk about core values, or as Mike Michalowicz calls them, immutable laws. I don't know why that word always gets caught up in my mouth, but in the Pumpkin Plan, Mike Michalowicz talks about them, and I'll just read the definition of them from his book, which I found to be really fascinating. We just read it in our mastermind group as our part of our book club. And immutable laws are the rules of our lives. They define you. They define your business. Immutable laws are a blend of ethics, core values, and self-assigned law, all wrapped up into one. They are the rules we have defined for ourselves, almost subconsciously, on what is right and what is wrong, what is acceptable and what is not, and what makes you happy and what doesn't. They are with you for life, and they barely ever change. And I just found that to be like really fascinating as we went through the book. And as I think about coaching businesses in the last number of years and helping people with their core values, it's really just deeper than that. It's really what gets us up. And as he outlines, they're the rules of our lives. And when we think about our businesses and what we forge forward and create around our businesses, there's rules to why we hire people, how we hire people, how we, engage in partnerships, how we engage in vendor agreements. There is this like unconscious drive that makes us want to work with people, not want to work with people. There's this like gut feeling that we have that makes things right or wrong. And we put it into this category of core values. But I love how he puts it into this immutable laws categories. And each one in our mastermind group went through and really thought about it. And I really challenged myself to like think about it. And after this journey of last year going through NLP and thinking about what I wanted to take a stand for in my business, I kind of just threw the baby out with the bathwater and started over. Like, what do I want to take a stand for? And I just thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about today. What do you have out there? What are your core values? What are your immutable laws for yourself, for your business? And are you taking a stand for that every day in your business to drive forward? What is your purpose? What is your why? Simon Sinek talks about it. Like, start with why. Why are you out there doing your business? Are you coming back to that, point A every time that helps you drive forward in your culture? Does it help you rally your business, your people, your mission forward in your business? And these immutable laws just really, I kind of went home after our book club discussion. It was like, what am I taking a stand for? And so I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about those from a catalyst perspective, and just thought it might spawn some interesting conversation as we went forward. And so I've kind of been working on mine and thought I would share some of them. So mine for catalysts are self-advocacy. I only work with those who respect and honor my worth as well as their own, upholding fair practices and fostering equitable partnerships. And that's really important for me because I really talk with a lot of business owners about valuing their worth. Are you charging your worth? Are you valuing your time? Are you honoring what you charge in the marketplace, your time and space that you're allotting for yourself to work on your business, to spend time with those who value your time and worth? And if I'm promoting that with the businesses that I'm working with, am I also valuing my time? And if I'm preaching that, if I'm coaching that with others, am I advocating for myself in my own business and my coaching? And I really had to look at how I was taking a stand for others. Why was I also self-advocating for myself? Community with a purpose is another one for me. I work to align individuals around common values and objectives, emphasizing collective growth while fostering individual gain. I approach a community building with a spirit of generosity, knowing that the more I lead through an example of contribution, the more vibrant and impactful the community becomes. And so that's really important for me because I want to lead with a purpose. I want to connect people that have a purpose in their businesses. My business has a purpose, and that I really want to foster a spirit of generosity. I really believe in giver's gain. In my office, there is a huge sign that says giver's gain. I believe the more that we give into the community, the more there is to gain. And that if we give without that expectation, that naturally just comes back in the universe. And so, are we fostering communities that are here to give and pour into each other? And naturally that just comes back in the universe. And so that we're giving without expectation, but that we're all coming as an example of contribution. Lead, share, repeat, or die trying. Building a community isn't just kumbaya and handshake. It's aligning values, fostering growth, and being so generous that they think we're plotting something. The more we contribute, the less awkward the potluck gets. And I just believe that really when leaders are there to share and repeat, and that we're building a true, authentic community, that it's not just for show, that it's really our authentic selves that are about giving, that comes through, and that it's just natural that everyone that is in the room, each person is there to give authentically of themselves. And it's not just in the mastermind community. That's part of each company's authentic core values as well. And that just spreads authentically, that it transcends the room as well. This one is really important. Curiosity as a compass. I nurture my natural curiosity, seeking to understand, question, and explore new ideas, perspectives, and experiences. I believe in knowledge and action and prioritize not only acquiring knowledge, but also applying it in meaningful ways to improve myself, help others, and contribute to the world. I'm driven by the need to know, question, and explore, even if it occasionally leads me down the weird rabbit holes. But hey, what's knowledge if you don't put it to good use? Here's to improving myself, helping others, and leaving the world slightly less confusing. I really believe in what happens in the mastermind room through the opportunity exploration is that we are seeking to be really curious about the issues and opportunities that each business is facing, that we're asking questions to understand the issue, that we're seeking to explore the new ideas that each company is facing, and that is without judgment. That it's a carefrontational approach to each business's perspective on what is going on. And I love that because what is happening in each business is unique and specific to that business. And we're not coming from a place of you should do this because of this. Tell me why this is important to your business. Tell me why this is happening. Why is this even important to you in your industry? And when we come from a place of curiosity in the way that we ask questions, in the way that we explore why these things are happening, why this is important, why you want to add this to your business, why this is on your mind, the business owner is more vulnerable. The business owner is more apt to share why this is on their mind, why this is coming up, and a more authentic conversation takes place. When we come from a place of curiosity, we're just more naturally open to learning and exploring and sharing, and more ideas, more answers, more solutions come naturally to those conversations when we're coming from a place of curiosity, not judgment, not criticism, and not a place of you should do this because, this is how I think, or this is what's happened to me, or a place of judgment. It's just a very more natural occurrence of conversation. I just love that place of curiosity. And if you read the book, Think Again by Adam Gant, he really talks about the different ways that people either preach or become a politician, a preacher, or a scientist. And if you stay in the place of scientist, you're more curious, and more answers, more innovation, more authentic conversations happen when we stay in the place of curiosity. We read that book as part of a book club about a year ago, and that really spawned some really great conversations and really great solutions that helped move businesses forward in the mastermind context. Accountability strengthens bonds. We're all about accountability. I'm the accountability coach. Accountability helps businesses move forward. So for me, an immutable value is accountability strengthens bonds. I demonstrate reliability by following through on commitments and showing up with the same principles. regardless of circumstances. I take responsibility for my actions, admit mistakes, and actively work to correct them, understanding that accountability deepens trust. And so often as leaders, we don't at the top of our organizations have those that are holding us accountable. It's very lonely at the top. Talk to any CEO or leader of organizations, they will tell you that. And so in the room, that accountability piece is super important. And accountability is not just, hey, you said you would do this. It's also holding you accountable when you misstep and when you misspeak and when you don't do what you said you would do, or when you make a mistake. And when you are accountable to those type of things, when you are accountable, when you make a mistake or speak incorrectly or just don't do what you said you would do, it actually strengthens those bonds between business owners and colleagues more than you will ever know. And it makes you a better leader and will strengthen the bonds within your organization. Own it or loan it. Trust isn't cheap. I show up, follow through, and own my screw-ups because excuses don't pay the trust bill. Accountability isn't just about fixing mistakes. It's the glue that keeps bonds from breaking under pressure. That's in alignment with the accountability value. And so I just thought it'd be great to, just share my immutable values because like Mike Michalowicz says, they're really a blend of ethics and core values and self-assigned laws all wrapped up into one. They're rules that we have where we have defined for ourselves almost unconsciously, if not absolutely unconsciously, on what is right and what is wrong, what is acceptable and what is not, what makes you happy and what doesn't. And they are with you for life and they barely ever change. I like what he says too, that if they do change, it will be a slow, unnoticeable morph, similar to the speed limit going from 55 to 65. The rollout goes highway by highway, state by state, slowly, barely noticeable. And when you notice the change, it just naturally makes sense. So if something is changing for you where maybe a value because something has changed in your life, where maybe you're single and you became a parent and now you've got this new value of family values, it just like naturally morphs for you because that has changed in your life. And so what I would say out there to you that are listening to this, if you don't have core values, or maybe you have them in your business where they're things like integrity or honesty, and they're just sort of like those permission to play. They're just sort of, vanilla core values. One, I would recommend reading the book Pumpkin Plan, or even Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and maybe connecting with me to help you do an exercise within your organization to help you figure out what your real core values are. And it's easy to just connect with me through the show notes and really sit with, what are your immutable laws? What would you die on the vine for yourself, for your business? What are you thinking about when you're hiring, when you're firing, when you're making some of these business decisions with partners, with vendors that really are maybe getting in the way of real authentic relationships, real partnerships with the people that you're engaging in business? Maybe think back to when relationships didn't go as well as you would have liked them to go, when a hire hung on for too long. Maybe you had a camper or a crank in your business that was getting in the way of culture. And if you really thought about what core values you either did or didn't have in place with the business, if you had some in place and you thought, gosh, this person showed up in this way, and if I really had to think about it, that wasn't a core value, or they exemplified these values, they aren't in line with what I want for my business or my life, it's probably a good time to have a conversation about what is important to you for your business, and think about maybe it's time to really sit down and think about, what are my core values for my business? What's getting in the way of us moving forward? We're hitting a ceiling in our business. We're not growing in the way that I want. Our culture is not moving forward, which is not helping us hit revenue goals, attract the right talent, and we're really just stale, and we need to grow in this way. 9 times out of 10, it's probably a core value issue, and you could really move your business forward by paying attention to that one little tweak. Love to have a conversation with you about that. And again, you could connect with me in the show notes to really dig into that area. If you like what you saw today on the Catalyst podcast, make sure you subscribe to our show, like it, and share it with someone who you think might also find value.